If you want to have a great looking lawn, you've got to learn to control weeds, because if you get rid of the weeds, all that's left is grass and you will have a great lawn. Now, of course, that sounds easy, but in this video, I'm going to show you that it actually can be with the two worst weeds that'll take over your lawn, crabgrass and clover. And we're going to wipe them out like a pro, but we're going to do it in a way that you can do yourself at home. Now this lawn doesn't look very good. It's got a lot of crabgrass, that's all those light green blades, and in addition we've got clover and a few other weeds. But what I'm going to show you will kill the crabgrass, kill the clover, but it won't kill your lawn. If you want professional results, don't shop at a big box store, because they don't either, because those products just don't work, they're too expensive, and they really are not going to give you the result you want. So what my recommendation is to use a professional product, and in this case the product is called Tenacity. Now I featured this in some other videos and the stuff is absolutely awesome. It's kid and pet safe when used according to the label, and it really works. That's why the pros use it, and you should consider using it as well. Now the only downfall of a professional product is you can't just buy a bottle, open it up and spray it. It does involve a couple of extra steps, but I'm going to show you how to do it yourself just like a professional but at home. And the only thing you're going to need is a sprayer for your yard. This can be any kind of a pump sprayer, or I'm going to show you a cordless model, but something that holds 2 gallons will work perfect. You're going to see a couple of other products being mixed with Tenacity. The first is a surfactant. All that does is allow Tenacity to stick to the leaves of the weeds better. If you don't use a surfactant, the product will roll off and you will not get good results. The second thing you need, because Tenacity is clear, is a dye so that you can see where you've sprayed. It's non-toxic and very inexpensive, but when you add this to the mix, you'll see that it allows you to tell where you've sprayed, and that's really critical. So with that explanation over, let's begin. First thing I like to do is to fill the sprayer with clean water. Now we've got our sprayer filled with 2 gallons of water, we can move on to the next steps. So you're going to start with your Tenacity. I like to put a piece of cardboard down just in case I spill any chemical. It makes it a little bit easier to clean up. In using this syringe, we're going to take out 1 teaspoon of Tenacity. Now this is actually even labeled on here to show you that 1 teaspoon of Tenacity is good for 2 gallons. But we're going to draw this out to get to the 1 teaspoon mark. 1 teaspoon. We're going to put that in our sprayer. Next thing we're going to need is the surfactant. Now it's just a coincidence that this bottle, the opening on it happens to fit this exactly. Now there is a little bit of Tenacity in here. I really don't worry about this because I only use this surfactant for my Tenacity, so I don't get too concerned about it. Now to make 2 gallons of solution, we're going to use 3 teaspoons of surfactant. As far as how much colorant you put in, for 2 gallons, I like to put in about 4 teaspoons of this, and I found that that gives me a pretty good result. You can go darker if you want to see it much easier, or if you're in really bright sunlight, but that amount has worked for me. This is 3. You can already see that the color of the tank is getting quite a bit darker. And we'll put a little bit more, and that'll be just about 4. We're going to make 2 gallons of solution. We needed 1 teaspoon of Tenacity. We needed 3 teaspoons of surfactant, 4 teaspoons of the color so that we could see the product very well. We can close this up and get ready to use it. I do always rinse this out when I'm done using it because the dye will stain the plastic if you leave it in there for ages. The dye will not stain the inside of most sprayers, so you don't have to worry about that, but when it's in this form, it's very concentrated. As I get started, a few more things to keep in mind as I spray. You want to use a tip for your sprayer that has a fine mist. You generally aren't going to have to go out and buy one, just something that sprays like this that gives you a nice even coat. Another important thing is you can see here that I'm just spraying the weeds once. Do not overspray the same section twice and don't coat the weeds multiple times. You only need a very fine mist to actually kill that weed. If you spray more than once, you're actually going to kill the grass, or you'll at least mess it up for a while. And here you can see that I was spraying some weeds in a bare bed, which is fine, but you also want to avoid any good plants because you can damage them. But the big plus of this is you can also spray it like I'm doing here, right in your lawn, and your grass won't suffer. Again, the biggest thing here is spray a light fine mist, only coat the weeds just once, and then move on. Once you're done spraying, kids and pets can safely return to the area once the product's fully dried. Now that usually can be about 3 to 4 hours, but always read the label to make sure you understand it completely. Now remember, you're not expecting the same type of results that you used to get from Roundup. Roundup killed the weed and the grass, so it was pretty much useless on a lawn. What you're seeing here is the way Tenacity does it. Once you spray Tenacity, in about 1 week, you're going to start to see some light areas on your lawn, and the weeds will go from green to white. At the beginning, they'll be a little yellow, and then they turn to like a paper white. So for about a week, they're actually a little bit worse than they looked at the beginning, but then in weeks 2 and 3, they'll completely die, root and all. And if your grass was slightly whitened during the process, it will very likely return to normal. So for a brief amount of time, they'll go white, and then this is what you'll see here. They completely die, and your grass will start to fill in and take over, and it really is exactly what you want for a result. And here's our clover, and if we zoom in a lot more, we can really see what's happening. And look at those clovers, they're completely white, but this plant will be totally dead in about another week to maybe 2 weeks. So you have to remember with Tenacity, it's a simple product that you just spray on and leave. You don't usually have to retreat, though it's not a problem if you do, but generally this is going to be your final result, which may not look beautiful at this moment, but those weeds are totally dead. And now the grass around them can quickly take over. So this is exactly what you're shooting for so that your lawn can finally come back. Because don't kid yourself, even though those weeds are green, if you leave them alone, they'll completely choke your lawn. Tenacity is by far one of the most popular weed controls in the market right now. It might seem expensive, but when you price it out per gallon, Tenacity is one of the least expensive products you can get and the most effective. So I hope this video showed you that you can control weeds yourself, you can use a product that won't kill your lawn, and you really can turn your entire lawn around and get rid of the weeds once and for all and say goodbye to crabgrass and clover, hopefully for the season and maybe forever. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and comment below. And I do want to make one comment about clover because I know people are going to bring this up. Clover can be a beneficial thing in your yard. Now in my case, whenever I have clover, it tends to take over to the point where I end up having no lawn, so I have to control it. But many people actually put clover in their lawn because it does help with the ecosystem and it is good for bees. However, most people are not able to really take advantage of that. So I'll leave that choice up to you, but I did want to mention that in case you're a real clover fan.